I asked thousands of Minecraft players to find the most insane, glitched, and game-breaking seeds in the history of Minecraft. And the seeds they found were insane. I'm also going to be ranking the top 5 at the end of the video and a prize for the eventual winner. But first, let's look at the insane seeds like this one. The first seed is a literal mansion that has spawned inside of a village. I would love for someone in the comments to do the maths on the odds of something like this happening, because a woodland mansion is already so rare, and then the fact that it spawned within a village is just insane. And also, I would hate to be the villager that lives in here, because he's gonna have a pretty rude awakening seeing that there's villagers right next to his house. Even some of the paths just lead to the roof of the woodland mansion. I'm sure the odds of this happening are way below 0.001%. And keep in mind, this is just the first seed. I asked thousands of people, and some of the seeds are even rarer and cooler than this. Now, this next one starts with a monument next to a ruined portal, but that isn't even nearly the reason why we're in this seed. Because if I do a quick 180, what is this? This is a naturally generated biome or structure, whatever you want to call it, and I've seriously never seen anything like this, because literally everywhere around it is just the ocean, and then there's just this island. It's also so weird. There's just floating blocks and huge stone pillars. Extremely weird and just random. And I have no idea how Minecraft even made this. But once again, this isn't even the craziest seed we have for you today. And also at the end of the video, I'm going to be ranking all of the seeds we show today. And me and my friends are going to decide a winner. Let me know which one's your favorite too, because there are lots of seeds we've got to get through today. And it's a weirdly cool structure, but not as cool as this next seed, which has a mushroom island. But not just any mushroom island. Quite possibly the biggest mushroom island I've ever seen. My render distance is at the max render distance, and it's not even loading in half of this island. Genuinely, this is the biggest mushroom island I've ever seen. Keep in mind, of course, mobs cannot spawn in mushroom island biomes, meaning this is probably the safest island in existence. And, dude, it is absolutely massive. Like, this thing is never ending. And keep in mind, this is one of the rarest biomes in the whole of Minecraft. And it's just still going. Genuinely, it's never ending. So this is a pretty crazy seed. It is literally thousands of blocks long of one of the rarest biomes. I cannot get my head around this. This is insane. But let's go to some more crazy seeds, like this next one, which has the coolest of the new biomes, the cherry blossom, in a huge crater. And this thing is absolutely enormous. Imagine having your house here, just seeing the most beautiful scenery. It's also got a massive dripstone cave and a massive water cave for you to explore right in the crater. This is a really cool seed. And once again, look at the size of this crater. But enough of this. Let's go to the next seed. This next seed has a village that is spawned in just water. I have no idea how this has happened, but it also has a ruined nether portal right next to it. Also just surrounded by water. Like, imagine spawning into a world and you spawn in this village. Like, this is absolutely insane. And what's even crazier than this is just a water village with a water ruined nether portal is that the water goes all the way down to bedrock. Like, look at this. So you look up, you see a village and a nether portal in water, which already looks so cursed. But then look down, you can just see, like, so many diamonds. Like, diamonds, 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 diamonds. So yeah, you could easily get full diamond from this, like, very fast. This is probably one of the most insane seeds to spawn in. And even on top of that, there's a pillager outpost right next door. So you can do some raids in your water village. This is probably one of my favorite ones so far, but let's go check out the next one. It starts with a cherry blossom crater that is surrounded by the most beautiful ice peaks I've ever seen. There's also countless structures nearby in pretty much every direction. With huge neighboring mountains, this seed is not short of any beauty at all. Like, just imagine living here, bro. Imagine living there and being surrounded by just insane peaks of ice. Like, look at that mountain. And of course, there's just a village right behind it for convenience purposes. Like, look at this, bro. This is so nice. No seed should be this nice just straight away. There's no way a seed tops this, right? Well, let's just have a look at the next one. Well, if you thought the last crater was cool, look at this one. Not only is this crater absolutely enormous, but it has a beautiful lush cave as part of it. Not to mention the deep dark with all the skulk there as well. This cave is absolutely insane. Right next to an absolutely massive water crater. There's also a nearby village, but as for craters go, this one is absolutely gigantic. And with a giant crater comes a massive giant cave too. I'm getting distracted. Let's go to the next seed. Now this next seed might be my most favorite one yet. It's a village with no village. So as you can see, it's the paths for all the village, but there's not a single house in sight. Imagine strolling through your world, you see the paths, and then there's just not a single house anywhere to be seen. And what's worse is that there's a pillager outpost right next to the village. Maybe the pillagers took the houses. Who knows? But this one's definitely a very funny one. And for sure, it's like something I've never seen before. I really like this seed, but let's go to the next one. This next seed kicks off with a mountain village surrounded by an absolutely enormous crater. This whole meadow biome is just encompassed by this absolutely massive snow mountain wall, forming quite possibly one of the largest craters I've ever seen in Minecraft. And not to mention the village that's literally part of it and being dwarfed by the size of everything around it. Like, I can barely render all of this in, and I have the max settings for render distance. This place is absolutely enormous, and it's weirdly symmetrical too. But this is definitely an extremely cool place to build your empire. Unlike this seed, which starts in an ancient city, which is already scary enough, but how about not one, not two, not three, but 4 ancient cities all next to one another, making quite possibly the largest ever ancient city. This thing is absolutely enormous, and the loot in here is probably insane. I'd love to know how many notches are in this exact seed, in this exact, well, quad city. I'd also love for someone to do the maths on what the odds 4 ancient cities are literally interlinked. Like, you can literally just run around in like a loop. Like, look, I'm just zooming around. That's already 2 ancient cities. Oh, wow, another ancient city, 3. Oh, wow, another ancient city, 4. And my god, the amount of wardens I'd spawn in this place would be ridiculous. But I don't want to think about wardens, and you shouldn't too. We should all look at this next seed, which is just absolutely insane. This next seed starts with a floating tree, but also this absolutely massive mansion. The amount of cobblestone that is holding up the mansion is just insane in itself, but the mansion itself is also ridiculous. Not to mention the monument, which is literally 100 blocks away. Or the ruined portal, which is literally part of it. It's so high up that there's snow forming on the top of it. That's how you know it's just ridiculously high up. Imagine being in a boat and just seeing a mansion 200 blocks up in the air. Just looking at all the landscape around it and then seeing it in all of its glory here is just absolutely ridiculous. The size of this thing is just insane. But I think that's enough for the Java seeds. Let's do some for you bedrock people. I found probably the most insane seeds so far today on bedrock. So let's go have a look at those. Of course, I couldn't forget about bedrock, and some of the seeds on here are absolutely insane. Also, excuse my little Steve skin here. Now, this first seed has an absolutely insane sinkhole with one of the coolest looking lakes I think I've seen in Minecraft. Not to mention the village right next door and all of the cool and different biomes making up the circumference of this huge sinkhole. This seed has a bit of it all, but let's have a look in the sinkhole. That kind of sounds sus, actually. I just have no idea how things like this even exist. But they do, and they are pretty insane. And did I forget to say that there's a trial ruin right at the bottom of the sinkhole with pretty mediocre loot and a mysterious floating chest. I promise you I did not place this. It has a diamond in, so I guess you can get a diamond, but this seed is just absolutely insane, and this really sets the tone for the bedrock seeds already. But let's get out of this sinkhole and let's go into the next seed. This next seed starts with a village, but that's not the craziest thing about this seed. I don't even know what this is, but it's just floating islands on top of a village in an absolutely enormous ice lake. There's not 1, not 2, but 3 absolutely enormous water islands right by this village. So these villagers definitely have something pretty exciting to have a look at, because this thing is massive. Not only that, but if you go down into the crater itself, there's a mine shaft right below. But I don't like dark caves, so let's go to the next seed. This next seed starts off very normal, and this is exactly what a spawn should look like, but it shouldn't quite have this, whatever you want to call it, in the middle of the ocean. There is absolutely nothing supporting this, and it is an outpost with a jungle temple in just the middle of the ocean. This thing is absolutely insane, and I can't believe it really exists. If I were one of these pillagers, I'd be absolutely fuming, because there's literally nothing around them other than just straight up ocean. Like, this is insane. This is just an absolutely wild seed. I can't even believe this exists. But let's go into the next seed. Do I even need to explain what I'm looking at on this seed? It's an absolutely massive crater with a enormous woodland mansion, which is also in a village. But not only is there a village and a mansion here, there's also a pillager outpost, which is part of the mansion. This is absolutely insane. And it doesn't even stop there, because right underneath, I think you can see it, there's an ocean monument in all its glory. So just to recap, there's an ocean monument, a village, a pillager outpost, and a mansion, all in a massive, massive crater. All on water, which is just absolutely insane. I don't think you'll ever see anything like this. But let's go to the next seed. This next one is an extremely cool woodland mansion island. It's literally a remote island with a woodland mansion and a huge, lush cave. For me, this island is absolutely perfect for a challenge video where you have to survive on an island for like 100 days, because imagine going into that huge, lush cave and then conquering the mansion. It also has more than enough space for huge, huge builds, and once again is an absolutely insane seed. But let's go to the next seed. At first glance, this looks like just a massive crater, which is cool in itself, but what if I were to tell you there's tricks lying underneath this ice? And not just any old trick, you can actually fall out of the world on this map. Right underneath the huge ice crater, there's actually an igloo, which also has the treasure room, which means if you were to break any block here, you'd actually be going straight into the void, because it's generated at literally the bottom of the world. So just make sure that you're watching your step, because that might be you next. And because I did it to him, I guess I'll do it to you too. Sorry, bro. But let's go to the next seed. This next seed has been called the Burj Khalifa for Minecraft, because look how high up this is. Not only does it have an outpost and a desert temple right on each other, it's placed right on a village, but also like 200 blocks in the air. Like, imagine just spawning in and you look, oh wow, that's a village. And then you see a temple with an outpost tower all the way up there. This thing is absolutely huge. These poor villagers are just never going to be able to get the loot. But it does mean at least the pillagers aren't going to ever get down to the village. So I guess that's not too bad. Swings and roundabouts. But let's go to the next seed. This next seed has every single structure minus the stronghold all together in one. It starts with the tallest outpost I've ever seen and then goes all the way down to a massive mansion. Then of course the mansion is just in a village and also on top of an ocean monument. Like, this is one of the most insane looking villages I think I've ever seen. But let's go to the next seed, which starts with one of the newer structures, but then also has pretty much every other structure here. Right here, you see a sunken shipwreck, a desert village, a pillager outpost, and a desert temple, all in one. These poor villagers are going to have to fight off the pillagers pretty much every day, which is going to be pretty tough, but at least they have pretty good loot, literally built into their village. And as you can see, my boy, the Iron Golem, has been putting in hella work, the poor guy. But I think that's enough for the bedrock seeds. Let's go back to Java and see some more crazy seeds. Remember, at the end of this video, I'm going to make my top 5, and I'm going to have my friends look at the top 5 and then pick a winner. So, let's see who wins the prize. But first, more seeds. And back on Java, we're starting with an absolute banger. Not only is there a massive sinkhole with a village in the sinkhole, but there's also a neighboring village, a ruined nether portal, and farmland all the way down right next to some diamonds. This is just absolutely ridiculous. All the way down to -53 to make sure their crops are farmed. If that were me, I'd make sure to move to the neighboring village, because that's a lot of work. But at least there's diamonds. Well, there were diamonds. But this is just absolutely insane and weirdly majestic. It's going to be extremely hard to pick the best seeds at the end of the video, but let's just go to the next one. This next seed starts with an absolutely enormous jungle with a really nice and hidden jungle temple, but then what does every jungle need? An oasis, of course. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. Like, imagine making your house in that middle center island while being absolutely surrounded by one of the biggest jungles I think I've ever seen. Naturally, of course, there's a village right by your massive oasis, surrounded by just a luxurious jungle. Now this is a really cool seed. But I'd argue this is cooler than an oasis. So what we have here is an absolutely massive mountain, which is also home to an insane lush cave that leads to a massive deep dark. And this place is just absolutely enormous. This is honestly one of the biggest caves I've ever seen. And the fact that it's like a hole in a huge mountain with lush cave and deep dark makes it a very cool seed. But how about an insane village? Not only is this a water village with a water nether portal once again, but it also has a massive sinkhole right next to it. This seed is just absolutely insane. I've never seen anything like this in my whole life. I'd never even seen a water village before or a water nether portal, let alone them together with a absolutely enormous crater. Like, look at this thing. There's trees spawning where they just absolutely shouldn't. And there's path blocks all the way down at Y-52. Looking up doesn't help the case either. This is just absolutely insane. And did I mention that there's a mine shaft right there too in the crater itself? And of course, just so many diamonds. I think it's safe to say this is one of the most insane and also bizarre things I've seen in a Minecraft seed. And probably one of the best we've seen all day. Because remember, I'm going to make my top 5. I'm going to have my friends pick out the winner. But let me know in the comments which one's your favourite so far. Because there are some absolute bangers we've seen today. And if it's this one, I wouldn't be too surprised. Because this one's absolutely insane. But let's see the ones we have left. This next seed starts with an absolutely massive Badlands crater. And what every crater needs is a sinkhole. But this might be the biggest sinkhole I've ever seen. Like, genuinely, my game's barely loading in the size of this sinkhole because look at the size of this thing. It's absolutely enormous. I have a C count of over 100,000. I think you can kind of tell how big this is. And of course it goes right down to the bottom of the world at -54. And just look at this. Imagine this is where you make your house. This is probably one of the coolest things I've just ever seen in Minecraft. This just doesn't feel real. This is going to be so difficult to pick a winner, but let's go to the next seed. This next seed is another sinkhole that goes all the way down, but also has just trees and wildlife right through it. Once again, making for an absolutely insane but bizarre terrain that I've just never seen before. Because there's no way a spruce tree should ever be growing at -43. But let's go to the next seed. This next seed starts with an exposed spawner in, I think, the first ever mangrove village. Because obviously mangrove villages aren't a thing. What's happened here is an acacia biome next door has made a village which has somehow managed to get its way into the mangrove biome. And what's crazier is that this village spreads across 4 or 5 different biomes, making this village probably one of the most unique villages I've ever seen. And with the exposed spawner as part of the village, I'm sure this village will be a zombie village pretty soon. This next seed has once again one of the most insane sinkholes I've ever seen. It's absolutely enormous and has jungle trees just throughout it. With some of the rarest biomes at the bottom of the world in a sinkhole in the ocean, this is definitely a insane seed. But I think I've seen enough Minecraft seeds today. Let me make my top 5 and then come back. And then of course, I'm gonna get my friends to rate the top 5 that I've picked and we'll pick a winner. And before we get to that, guys, I'd just like to say please subscribe and like the video. It helps me out a ton. And let's get into the top 5. And remember, this is in no particular order as my friends are gonna vote for the best one out of the top 5 I pick. But here are the top 5 that I picked. So it actually turned out to be a top 6 because I couldn't really fit 5 in because there were so many good seeds. So here is the top 6. So the first seed was the village with just no village. The second seed was the Jungle Temple Pillager Outpost. The third seed was another bedrock seed where all the structures were just in a lake together in a crater. The fourth seed was the crazy village. The fifth seed was a pretty similar but also just as insane crazy village. And number 6 was the absolutely gargantuan crater. So I got 3 of my friends to rate these 6 seeds out of 10, with the highest scoring one being the winner. So this is the scores they gave.
I'd say it's pretty unique, so I'll give it like a I'll give it a 7 for uniqueness, 4.5 for amazing factor. Yeah, I mean, actually, the hole is pretty cool. I'll give it a hole We'll give an extra point for the hole, so 6.5.
Okay, 6.5. 6.5 for the first seed. Alright, bet.
That a 3 or 4 will be fair. Say 3.
I'm gonna go with 3.
3? Okay, okay.
Yeah, if that was on like the normal Minecraft, I'd probably give it like a 9. But
Okay.
because it's bedrock, I'll probably drop it to like a 7.
Okay, okay.
4.
We're edging it up here. I'm gonna go 5.
Okay, a 5. Nice. Respectable score.
Oh
No.
wow.
And then all of this is on top of a monument. One of the ocean monuments.
Okay, wow. I'd probably give this one a 9, not gonna lie.
A 9,
This is,
yeah.
I mean, you can't ask
Yeah.
for much more, can you?
No, I would agree. I would agree.
That's
Right.
insane.
And this one gets a 6.
Oh my god.
So what
I'll
do you
give it
reckon
a
out of
7.
10? A 7, a 7, okay.
Oh,
So
mate.
like, look at this path. This path's at minus
shit.
53. It's pretty wild, this seed, so...
Yeah,
what
this
are you
one's pretty crazy. I think this has got to be like an 8.5.
An
Can't lie.
8.5.
This is a big seed.
It's getting a high score.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
I don't know what you got in store, but I will
There's
say a
one more.
9.
There's only one more. Ooh, a 9. Okay.
8.
8. Okay. We're getting up again. So this one's currently your front runner.
Ooh, right,
And
okay.
it's a bigger village this time, but pretty similar.
I think this one's better than the last one.
Ooh,
Just about. I think I'll give this one a 9.
a 9 as well. Okay.
I feel like with the last one, the lava kind of added to it, so like
Yeah.
it goes into like the world's core,
Yeah.
and so it just adds that kind of like little I'll give it an 8.6.
8.6. Okay. Very specific. I like it.
I'm gonna go 6 actually.
A 6. Wow.
I don't like.
It just looks. It looks.
Yeah,
amazing,
this
bro.
is
It
pretty
looks so
insane.
good.
I'm not gonna lie. It's so big.
I'm saying 10.
You actually think it's a 10? Okay.
Yeah,
Damn.
Just on
alright.
sheer size and
Yeah. Wait.
like how
I-
amazing the backdrop looks.
Yeah, I haven't actually tried it with shaders. Wait, let's actually just have a look. Oh, okay.
Turn it to night real quick.
Yo, that's kind of wild. I'm not gonna lie.
The lighting sets the mood so much.
Probably an 8.5. I can't.
Probably an 8.5. Well, this is your highest scored one as well. Okay, interesting. These are the current standings and scores for the previous 5 seeds. And because I forgot to show Alex the final seed, it meant he had the deciding vote on the winner. Let's see which seed wins the prize. I forgot for you to rate this last seed, so everyone else is rated. So depending on what you say, you pick the winner, basically. Because this is one of the
Right.
front runners. So it really depends what you like from a seed, but... this is what it is.
Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
so basically, it's an absolutely enormous crater. Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and then when we go to night as well, it gets even crazier. Like, that's kind of insane.
Yeah, I think this beats the mansion.
So you
On
had
the-
that at a
on the-
9.
For that reason, I'll give it a 9.5.
A 9.5. Well, this is the winner because Harvey had it at a 10, Scarlett had it at an 8.5, so this one is the winner. GG. These were Minecraft's most unreal seeds. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Also, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if there's a better seed out there because, hey, who knows?